Well, let me show you something, brother. Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Titans Return Legend class. The iconic, the legendary, the immortal Roadburn? That's right, it's the Bumblebee repaint in red. That isn't Cliff Jumper. Whoa. There are a lot of influences going into this guy, and we're going to cover them all in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. I am working hard on the season finale right now of Universal Collision. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep the schedule. I don't know if I should alter the content a little bit of episode 12 and put more into episode 13. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, but I promise you I am working hard to bring the season finale to you as soon as possible. Hopefully on schedule. And what else can I say? Check me out everywhere. This is the red repaint of the Titans Return version of Bumblebee, and so many influences actually into this guy, and I think he's getting a bit of a raw deal because I don't think people are kind of giving him the credit that he probably deserves. Here's why. Like I said, a lot of influences got into this guy. First of all, I think it was great that we get a repaint of Bumblebee that isn't Cliff Jumper. It was wonderful to see something different. And I'm just going to grab a couple of things here to help us out. This is Roadburn. It is the Throttlebot Chase renamed. I would suggest to you, probably so that young kids who are familiar with the Rescue Bots version of Chase do not get confused. And hey, I can appreciate that. You've got to kind of change with the times. And since this guy is known for kind of, flying the battle bravely, maybe sometimes recklessly, I think Roadburn kind of fits him. Plus, I think he has a top speed of about 250 miles per hour, if I'm not mistaken. So the guy can burn some road, We're going to just take him out of it for a second. We're going to just bring in his box. Nothing major. It's a box. And, the product shot in the back. Not much in terms of a bio for this guy. If they think they can outrun him, if Decepticons think they can outrun him, they're wrong. But I already alluded to the reason for that. We have, for him, the ever-popular collector card. It looks great. I love the artwork on it. I like that they have a silver Autobot symbol on them. I really kind of wish that we had gotten that silver Autobot symbol, but hey, we get what we get. A lot of red. It really does look like Chase. On the back, we have, his strength, it is what it is, and the firepower is nothing great. Again, like Bumblebee, he doesn't come with a gun. His intelligence, his speed, way up there. That makes perfect sense. Now, a lot of people said, hey, I think the name Roadburn came late in the development because his instructions had Autobot Chase on them. Mine don't. Mine have him named as Roadburn. So I guess a little bit of a running change in the instructions there, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't really matter. Now, to bring him back in, we talked about the influences. The first, of course, being that Bumblebee mold. There's no shock, no surprise that is a major influence on this guy, since that was the mold that got used. Bringing this in, trying to adjust him. The head. A lot of people have alluded to the fact that, it has a look to it like a handlebar mustache. We all know who he bears a resemblance to, and the fact is that's actually his cheekbones, if you want to call it that, his cheek sculpting. It's just, it's so very pronounced that it almost gets that sort of mustachy look to it. Truth is, the G1 cartoon did have a face on this guy, but the figure had a face plate, as I recall, and this is actually more akin to the visage, if you will, of Freeway. So, I don't know, could that be a little bit of foreshadowing of things to come? Who knows at this point, but I have to be honest, if you want to reuse a mold, I would kind of dig getting Throttlebots done this way. It would be nice if there was remolding done, not just a repaint, but actual changes made, and if you kept the bones of the transformation, cool. So, that being said, let's talk about him, in terms of how he scores, because we've already looked at a lot of the influences that went into him, and I think that those are really interesting. But his paint apps, I'm going to have to give it, as much as I love this nice, deep, rich red and the black that's on it, his overall paint apps, I have to give a score of about a 7.5. Why? Because his forearms should be completely red. His legs should be completely red. That being said, if they were, I think that might just be too bland. So I like this breakup. I do. Enough that I've toyed with the idea of doing, paint on the forearms and the legs of this guy. I don't think I'm going to bother because I really like this. Plus, on the legs at least, I think you're risking having custom paint rub off. It is what it is. So his paint app's about a 7.5, we'll say. It's good, but not fabulous. That being said, I guess because of the resemblances that we've drawn here, I'm kind of cool with this guy having huge guns, huge pythons right there. It doesn't bother me with this guy at all, to be honest with you. I think the mold might work a bit better for him than it did for this guy. And this, of course, is my custom Bumblebee. Bumblebee got an, he done well. He got an overall score, as I recall, of about an 8.75 or a 9. And I said that he is, at least in the chug line, about as close to a perfect B as we're likely to get. So this guy's not starting off as well in the paint apps department, but that being said, he doesn't have the color mismatch. The red on my roof and the red plastic match perfectly on mine. Some people talked about it being slightly off, but they match perfectly on mine. It's just that the accuracy is slightly off. And this is a good figure. I looked at B in full. And the custom paint apps that I've done on him in episode 257. So, taking that out of it, this guy's scoring lower on the paint apps. Articulation is going to be exactly the same as B, which was an 8.5. The arms can go way out to the sides. They can go all the way around. You have that elbow bend, but it's kind of useless considering the size of the bicep. There's a ball peg, so you do get a swivel there. No big shock there. The head does move left to right. The legs can go all the way out to the side. They can go forward, this far. They can go backward. It's pretty great. If you go to bend the knee, the ankle still gives first, so you still have the same issue. You can bend him at the knee if you put your finger behind it. I talked about that with B. So, same strengths, same weaknesses as B. Nothing has really changed there. So, yeah, he had an 8.5 and a 7.5. The guy is currently scoring an 8. And his transformation, that's also an 8. Okay, so let's actually get into the transformation now. I was on two minds if I was going to do it, but I will. So, that being said, we're going to bring this up. And we're going to bring this tummy section out. We're going to straighten up the arms, and straighten up the arms. I'll point out right now, there is a little red tab in here, and on the forearm there's a little slot. That little slot will go over that little tab when you get this in the right position. When we brought the head up, we brought it up on the lower hinge. On the back here you can see that there's a hinge kind of down in the body. Let me back this up a bit because I feel like I don't have the room to work here to show you. There's a little hinge down here in the body. That little hinge is the one you flip back. When you flip it forward, there's an upper hinge. Flip it forward on the upper hinge. If you had the tummy up, you'd see that the head no longer goes into that section. That's why there's two hinges. One for vehicle, one for robot. You collapse the shoulder up, you collapse the shoulder up, and you tab those arm pieces on over. Now, those arm pieces don't tab exceedingly well. It's more like a guide, really. Now mine, this tummy section, unlike with B, does like to pop off. So we open that out, and we open this all the way out. Now, I'll point this out before I do the transformation. If you wanted to put a Titan Master in this guy, he would go in here and you would have to pull up this entire, front section. The problem with that is that that's undoing part of the transformation, because this now has to come down and go in between these two shoulder pieces and tab in. So we bring that down and we tab that in on both sides. There is the main core and rear end of the car done. I did not paint the back windshield of this guy. I did do that with B. When you fold this up to go in his tummy, I'll say it now, you can paint that. I don't think I'm going to bother here, just to differentiate him a little bit. I will also note that the connection here in the windshield on the, for the chest tummy of mine, does tend to come apart quite easily. Quite easily. It pops off. Now it just goes back on over to friction joint, but mine is showing some mold degradation. Next, you need to get the feet taken care of. And really what you do is you flip see if I can bring this leg maybe backward, show. You flip the leg up. And when you do that, you also collapse the knee. Almost Combiner War style. There's a little black tab on the door. There's a little slot in this, front fender section. They go together. And in like that, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Now, that being said, you should really do this side first because there's a little indent here on his toe and there's a little protrusion here on this toe. This little protrusion fits into that indent to kind of tie all this together. So we bring this down, we collapse that leg, we bring it in, we kind of give all of this a final squeeze. That arm popped out on me. There you go, it's in, and boom. In the end, there we have Roadburn, and he rolls like a champion. This is how he looks in his vehicle mode. It is absolutely lovely. I like it. Again, overall, he's an 8. Is he a standard? Is he somebody you should really go hunting for? I don't think you have to, unless you really dig the Throttlebots, or you really want a red version of B that's not Cliff Jumper. I like him. I'm glad I got him. I kind of hope we get the other Throttlebots. He's an 8. He's a nice start if we're going to get that team. Anyway, folks, that's it for this guy. Thanks for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. You know that I always very, very much appreciate it. And I really look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.